There's no such thing as corporate culture. There's only each manager's culture. I posted this graphic on LinkedIn recently, and it got a lot of feedback. So let's talk about it more here. The feedback I got from a few people is, of course there's corporate culture. There's things like benefits and policies, and the CEOs set the tone. Well, let's talk about those. Because absolutely, there are things that matter in an organization. But the way those are carried out and the employees' experiences are, to me, what culture really is. Okay, if you think about someone you talk to and say, oh, what's it like to work at your company? They're probably going to talk about their own experience, their team, their manager, their autonomy, how they take time off, what they think about their job. Because the overall company as a whole isn't really their experience. It's what each person does when they show up every day, who they have to work with, how they feel respected or not. That, to me, is what culture is all about. It's why, if you go on a Glassdoor or a site like that, you can see all sorts of reviews, from 1 star to 5 stars, of people working in with the same organization. And that can mean organizations with incredible benefits, with generous paid leave, with bonus programs, with things like that. And also organizations that have terrible benefits. Because oftentimes it's different departments or different roles that really define what that looks like. So to me, there isn't such thing as one unified culture. All there is each individual's experience. So for organizations, they will spend time creating value statements, putting them on the website, maybe having their CEO have the messages reviewed by a PR agency so that everything coming through speaks from the same corporate voice. But as that gets filtered down, people every day aren't going to work and generally working alongside the CEO. And people may look at a message and think about it, but their actual experience is what matters. And so where I see a lot of organizations missing the mark, or not realizing how they could make their culture truly come to life all over the place, is when you have disconnects, where you spend investments in having a policy or having a benefit, but not having it actually cascaded to managers. So think about paid leave, for example. If you give someone paid leave, then that organization may have managers that think about that paid leave. Oh, someone's going to be out for 4 months, for example, which would be pretty generous in the US. Other countries may think, oh, that's not very much. But good managers will talk about that and come up with plans for employees for coverage, to making sure that the work is covered, but that it's not just everybody on the team working later, that it's really people chipping in, but that things are covered and workloads balancing those, and really having all of that full coverage and supporting the employee vocally. But you may have another manager who, when they talk about paid leave, they make jokes. They may not realize someone on their team is expecting or trying to have a child. And they may make comments about, oh, this is what we get by hiring someone of childbearing age. Those are very real comments that happen all over the place. And so having those benefits in place, that's not a culture if you have different individuals who are carrying that out. Also, it can be managers. And the CEO is a manager, so the CEO's voice may matter more than some others. The CEO may make a decision about how messages are going to carry it out, what kind of investments the organization makes for employees. But it's incredibly important that each manager get that level of training to understand their responsibility and what to do from it. This is why what I do really focuses on managers, because there are certain things about benefits that you can have as an organization or things like that there's plenty of people that can talk about that. But for me, when you really think about the employee experience, it comes down to those direct managers. And this is backed up by data. There's Gallup research showing the number one driver of employee engagement is that employee's direct manager, how they communicate, how they talk about how that employee's work impacts the broader organization. So it really is those specific relationships. Or the UKG study that came out in January of 2023 showed that a employee's manager can have even more of an impact on their health than their doctor or their therapist. Can be roughly on par with their spouse or partner if they have those. So this role of the manager is one that I tell organizations is so important. And managers do not need to become junior HR or junior lawyers. I've been in legal and people / HR for organizations, and it's important that you have those functions. But a lot of managers, they step into role and they haven't gotten any sort of level of training on that people management or training on actually what to get to do. Because as you think about things, everything from paid leave and those benefits, telling employees, this is how you can support employees that are going out on leave. That's a step that a lot of organizations assume managers can do, but they just can't. But every step of the process, when managers are hiring, to when you're onboarding people, communication, delegation, if an employee leaves or resigns, what do you do in those situations? Do you ice them out, or how's that going to impact the broader team? All of those experiences that are really under that direct manager's control, to me, that's what a culture of an organization is all about. How they treat their people. And you can build more consistent culture across the different departments and managers if you provide this training. And this is why I provide my Manager 101 course and things like that to organizations. And also have organizations have toolkits so that they can run these follow-up sessions to help managers practice, to make sure they actually know what to do in the situations that happen. If someone's not performing, if you have a conflict, if somebody has a concern. But all of these things and these experiences, to me, that's culture. And so sure, some things are going to be set by the top, and it's important for the top leaders to think about things. Are you thinking about, treating one group of employees differently? Or you have other employees that think that they feel like the other? So you can have bigger decisions made by those manager cultures that are at the top of the organization. But really, that direct manager is often the culture that employees think about. So for organizations, as you think about the investments you make, it's really important to think about those managers and giving them the practical tools. I offer them, and many others do as well. And even it's those managers that are watching videos like this to get a sense of things to do and say. It's really important to know that the culture that you create as an organization is a lot more within your control and those people type experiences than the words on the website or the careers page that no employee may actually look at after they apply. So how you bring those to life and how you make those words that you promise to employees have them happen on a day-to-day basis, that's the manager's culture. And that can create your corporate culture.